Hey, I'm Ed Bolian from VINwiki, and I have a problem. Actually, I've got a lot of problems, a lot of problematic cars, and just too many of them. I've got too many cars, not enough places to put them. I am not Tyler Hoover. I do not want to hoard some hoopty fleet of broken exotics. I just want to drive the cars that I like, and I've accumulated far too many of them over the last couple of years. And so today, I'm going to walk you through which cars are here, which cars aren't, and what we are doing to get rid of some very immediately. Because the mission for the rest of the year is clean out the garage, focus on the cars that we love, and continue to put as many miles on them as we possibly can. Now, the two most recent acquisitions are right here. We'll start with this one, my Monterey Blue, the only Monterey Blue in the entire world manual transmission Lamborghini Murcielago LP640. It's an '07 that I sort of accidentally bought on Cars and Bids just a few short months ago, and I gotta say, I love it. It's way too nice for me. I like terrible examples of really cool cars, and this one's honestly just a high-mile, great example of a really cool car, and so I don't know, we'll see if it stays around. But next to it is a car that I had bought just before that. And that's really where things got complicated for me this year, because I sold the Rosso Andromeda, the red Lamborghini Murcielago LP670 SV that was parked right here last year. Loved that car, didn't really fit in it, and I got a great offer, so I decided to let it go. And I took a scud on trade, but I also found this at around the same time. With the help of Matthew Ivanhoe, the cultivated collector, I found a 1997 Lamborghini Diablo SV in Japan. Now, about a decade ago, this was one of the most extreme modified Lamborghini Diablos that you'd ever see in Japan. Flashing lights, crazy rhinestones, everything you'd said, graphics. I'll put some pictures up so you know what it looked like. But the transformation of this car over the last few weeks has been incredible. We had it taken from the port in Long Beach to the Portofino after the running of the U.S. Express, drove it to Vegas for SEMA, and Rich Light and his team at Glossit totally transformed the car into what you see here. Now, the car was Rosso Imola, so red, and we made it look Verde Scandal, in my opinion, the most iconic color for the Diablo SV. And we were able to get from Alex Hess the factory OZ wheels, the right wing, the right graphics, the right rear bumper. And now, at least from where you're standing, it looks really, really good. It's still a rough driver quality Diablo, but I love it for that. And I am truly enjoying that car. Now, having four Lamborghinis was never the plan, and it certainly is not the long-term plan. So at some point, one of them is going to have to go, and that's really what we're at the start right now of making happen. I'm working with the guys at Sotheby's Motorsport, a new auction platform designed for exotic sports cars and things like that, generally $100,000 to $1 million, and we're not gonna stretch those bounds a little bit on the lower end for this thing, but right now, several of my cars are live with no reserve on Sotheby's Motorsport. They've combined the resources of RM Sotheby's, Sotheby's, DuPont Registry, and Motorsport Network with Ferrari Chat and everything else to create a new platform, and I really like it. We've had all the cars recently inspected by the Lemon Squad, so you'll get full disclosure of all the things that are broken on them, and there are plenty of things broken on them, but I don't know yet which of the Lambos is going to go there, but these two, I think, just have to stay. I say that about all of them because I love them all so very much. I did a video this year talking about 5 years of ownership with my Verde Draco, originally black, but painted Verde Draco, LP640 Coupe. Had some amazing drives in that car this year. Took it up to Indy and back for their 8-hour race with Pirelli. Took it to Hilton Head and back. It's got about 53,000 miles, and it is doing awesome. Could stand some maintenance, but ultimately I could start it right now and go anywhere. Check engine lights ablaze. Next to it is one of 10 manual LP640 Roadsters for the US, one of 16 for the whole wide world. Nero Nemesis, covered by Rust-Oleum matte black, covered by Expel Film in matte black. And so it's tolerable, it looks great, I drive it all the time. I really do think this one is my favorite. The open top experience, you hear everything so much better. It is perfection, and I love it. And to be quite honest, a much nicer version of one of these may come up for sale very soon through Curated, and that might change the market, but I don't care what they're worth. I just love them so much. I also have really had some great times in the Spiker this year. I bought it last year from Missy Elliott, '09 Spiker C8 Laviolette. So many cool features of this car, such a pleasant car to drive and be in. Anywhere you take it, it causes quite a stir, and it causes quite a stir in yourself because everything is awesome. I love all the special touches. I've had a ton of fun with the car, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Now, the first car that is absolutely not going to be in this driveway in a week is this. My 2017 Ferrari GTC4 Lusso has the V12, has the all-wheel drive, shooting brake design, and I said, I think this is the best car that Ferrari ever made. Maybe not the coolest. There's other cars that are certainly more rare, more significant, more cool, but this car, in terms of its practicality, usability, comfort, speed, performance, my kids love riding in it, is just too good. And honestly, that's why it's got to go. So it is selling no reserve. Whatever it brings is what it brings on Sotheby's Motorsport right now. It ends in just a few days. And having the car here has caused a couple of problems for me. I'll come out to the garage planning to take a Mercy or this or something else somewhere, and I'll see this perfect, comfortable, easy to use car, and I'm getting lazy and I'm just jumping in it. And so it has to get out of the way so I can put more miles on the more miserable, uncomfortable cars that I love, and it'll make somebody very, very happy. It was also too nice for me. This is what I traded the 2017 Audi R8 V10 Plus for that we used in Car Trek 9. Now, the next car behind us is a 1976 Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. Certainly a car I never intended to own or expected to own, but we were doing the US Express, which is sort of a period-correct cannonball event organized by Taylor Hull, and this car did incredibly. You don't expect a Rolls-Royce to give you 4,500 trouble-free miles in just a span of a couple short weeks, but this one did just that. Bought it in Charlotte, drove it to Atlanta, drove it to Manhattan, drove it to LA, drove it to Las Vegas for SEMA, and it never let us down. Now, if you scroll on over to Sotheby's Motorsport, you'll also see that it is currently for sale, no reserve. I don't need to keep an old Rolls-Royce around, although right now, if we're just going to lunch or something like that, I do just jump in this car all the time because it is so much fun, it's so comfortable, and it does everything well, all while feeling very regal and very special. And so you'll see the massive service bill that it took to make this car as reliable as it is, but I'm sure there's not another Rolls-Royce of this vintage out being used the way that this one has, and it'll treat somebody else really well. Maybe put a few spots on the driveway, but that's what life is all about, right? Next to it, it's lovely to have my CL55 back here. It spends most of its time these days at the Miles Through Time Museum next to the S55 that we won the 2015 2904 in, the $1,200 accident, salvage title, paint falling off car. But this one, just having it around for a little while, we took it to the Hilton Head Concours d'Elegance. They featured me as a velocity collector. Now, I don't really fancy myself a car collector, but I guess there's evidence to support that conclusion. But regardless, they wanted this. We took a couple of the Mercies, took the Spiker, and had a wonderful time. This car's doing great, running well, currently registered, fully road legal. I mean, obviously it's always that way, but it's extra that way now. Next to it, we have one of the Sway Cayennes. Now, we built 5 Cayennes. The first one for Car Trek 6. This one was one of 4 that we built alongside Sway to kind of build the ultimate on and off-road Cayenne. We wanted something that you could take everywhere, daily drive, take it out in the mud, and we did that. And we took them all the way to the top of Alaska. So this year we made some content with these cars. I love it. This one is a keeper for a long time. My kids love riding it. Their friends all love seeing it. However, there is one of them, a 2013 Cayenne GTS. This one's a 2015 Turbo, but the GTS is for sale right now on Sotheby's Motorsport as well. This is probably the most ridiculous car I've ever owned, and that's saying something. It is a 6-wheel Carmichael Range Rover, and so it's partially 1976, which would have been a 2-door car, partially a 1990, which would have been a 4-door car, and partially a whole bunch of other stuff, but Ficarra Classic, John Ficarra, helped me to source the car from a Parisian art dealer, so shipped it in here from France, radically transformed it to be off-road capable, and then we tried to drive it across Oregon for Car Trek 10. And so I love the way it looks, and I'll say if we pulled any of these cars out and took them anywhere, nothing gets more positive attention than this ridiculous car. Everybody's thumbs up, everybody loves it, and I don't need it. It takes up a lot of space. It doesn't really fit in the garage. And so it is also for sale, no reserve on Sotheby's Motorsport. Now that may be the first time I lose a ton of money on a car. I guess we'll have to wait and see because all of mine are just selling no reserve. We'll see what happens. And that makes it fun. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that you're able to scroll on over there and register as a bidder, and we'll just see what happens. Now, in addition to my cars, we're going to sell a few cars that I owned previously. So the yellow Scud that's up at Ferrari of Long Island, the Roof RT12S that's at Grand Prix up in Portland is going to be for sale as well. The Car Trek 1 Gallardo, the Flood Gallardo that started it all for Car Trek, that one's for sale. We got the Cayenne as well. And this is back. My Grigio Silverstone 2009 430 Scuderia. I have talked about this as the best car that I ever owned. I sold it a while ago. I do miss it. There is absolutely nothing like a Scud. And if you're looking for the best one-car garage supercar that you could own for that kind of money, this is it. I still love the color combination Grigio Silverstone over red with the 16M style stripe, and it's for sale right now. It was bought by our local Alfa Romeo dealership, and so I called them up, so we're going to be selling some of my cars. This was one of my cars. You want to sell it alongside of us? And so they are going to sell it as well. So we've got a ton of cars that need to move and need to move rather quickly. So go check it out right now. I'll put the link in the description below, and you'll be able to buy something that I have loved a lot and you can love even more. Thank you so much for watching VINwiki. Thank you for making all of this possible. I never imagined to have so many cars, so many problems, and so much fun making content for you guys. Have a great day.